have the court come back at that point in time and say,
Is he
look,
a citizen of the United States?
I believe so. Yes, I believe he is. But Judge, I maintain he's correct. There is no provision, but there was also no provision for COVID, and a pandemic. So, I maintain that if that hadn't been going on, he would have been arrested. I have no problem saying that because we never have had an issue with Beaumont PD in the 28 years I've been in business.
may I respond to that, Your Honor?
Oh, he's not. I apologize, Judge.
He's what?
He's not a citizen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he was.
Your Honor.
Well, the problem, you don't need to.
All right.
Because actually, the law works, even in a state of an emergency. The law is supposed to work. The laws are still applicable, even when we have war or catastrophes, earthquakes, hurricanes. The laws are still applicable. That's the problem. And natural disasters or other natural phenomenons are put into the process. It's just life. But the rules of law, every day there's some event that is potentially a circumstance that can cause people to be unable to accomplish what they're trying to do, but still the laws apply. What I don't like about this, truly, the thing that I don't like about the law that is some kind of a compromise for good faith efforts to try to get the defendant back. I don't know why that's not in there. I've read through it and they said that's not supposed to, that it doesn't matter. I mean, you try, but unfortunately with Bondsman, the way the law is worked and the courts have ruled is, I mean, you've got to grab the trapeze when it flies by. If you miss it, you're falling. You got to pay the price, which I've never felt that was fair, but that's what the rule is.
Well, Your Honor, that's where the special bill of review comes in. They've still got 2 years to get the guy back before this court.
He's an illegal. He was here illegally. God knows, realistically, if he comes back, he certainly will not be using the same identification that he came for. We all know that. I've seen it happen, and they're not going to come back knowing that there's problem, that there is going to be a warrant for them. They're not going to come back and say, here I am. I'm here to turn myself in. The day that happens, I'll jump out of this building. It just doesn't happen that way. It will come, if they come back, it will be secretly, and it will be under an anonymous name, and it will be under an identification set of papers that have been prepared to change his identity. Which is the whole Pandora's box of open borders. Because I see it every day. The law's not built for that either, because it does not accommodate realistic, what is reality, and that is people are coming in anonymously. And I just pray that worse people are not walking over the borders. But it puts the people who I see regularly, illegal immigrants, when they flee, they're coming back, and if they get caught, they're under they've got a different identity, if they're lucky to be caught that way. So bondsmen are in a bad spot. All of that's fine if circumstances were perfect, but there's no realistic way he's going to be able to catch the guy in 2 years. But I don't know what the loss is. Otherwise, it doesn't give me any wiggle room. It really doesn't.
Well, Judge, there is, to go back to your point, there is a settlement practice in the law. that states that there can be a settlement between, I'm not saying in this
I can't get
particular
involved in that.
situation.
That's
Well,
what
actually, you have to approve it. You have to,
yeah, but nothing's been approved to
well,
me. Nothing's
you-
been submitted to me.
right.
The settlement is an agreement between all parties.
Well, that's because that's never been the policy, and policies are changing in the DA's office, so maybe that's something new that, may come about, but,
Well,
I try to work things
you've
out
got a
with the
different
DA's
district
office.
attorney
Yeah,
who is someone who's come in, who's got a background that's unique from other DAs in the past, and, Mr. Goodwin was a judge, a federal magistrate judge, a prosecutor, defense attorney, a minister. I think he would explore. I think he believes in fairness. That's the way I've always thought of the man, that he looks for fairness. So I'm not able to. I certainly would sign off on a resolvement if y'all can do that certainly under these circumstances, but the parties are going to have to work the agreement out. And maybe that's something to explore. It just seems like all circumstances are unique, and some should be in a case where an absconder for a bondsman, it shouldn't be necessarily completely punitive against the bondsman if they have done they have taken all reasonable methods to get the defendant acquire his presence, and it's compounded now with the open borders, because bondsmen are trying to do a humanitarian effort. I mean, it's their job to post a bond, but they don't have to, but they do it. But it's now, it shows, this is an example of a higher risk that maybe it's too high to stick your neck out, which then puts people who are immigrating in a bad spot. So I mean, you go rock in a pond and it ripples across the whole pond, and this is one of those that everybody gets hurt because of a failure to responsibly deal with regulatory immigration, the regulations and the proper processing, because people, I guess, who have thought that open borders is the right way to do it, never thought about all the practical consequences down the line, like we're talking about here. Because now American businessmen are being punished, really. That's the treated. It's just, they're hurt, and they're trying to do a humanitarian effort as part of their business, but it's a humane maneuver. It's keeping people, it's allowing people to enjoy the presumption of innocence and have a bond posted so that they can be insured to show up for court, but they aren't imprisoned before they're found guilty. Those are all constitutional rights. But it's going to get to the point where bondsmen are going to say, I just can't, I'm not sticking my neck out because my neck's not protected. It gets hacked off with somebody who's in the country illegally, because the practice is they commit a crime, they get out on bond, they're gone, and I'm the one stuck. And it's impossible to find them again. Right? And if you run into them, they'll be under another identity if they come back. So there's maybe all of that combines into a calculus of resolvement, maybe under certain circumstances.
As far as I know, Your Honor, we have not resolved full amounts of the bond when the defendant has not been rearrested.
I don't think
ever. So, I mean,
Settlements
I
are
don't know
never-
what he's talking about
Settlements
traditionally.
are made every day.
No, I didn't, no,
Hold
I
on.
never said that traditionally we did that. I never
Oh,
stated
okay,
that.
I
I said we
thought you said
never
that was the
have.
practice.
No, I said
Oh,
that,
okay.
that's in the law, but I've never said it's never been put into practice
But
in the past.
But
settlements, what I'm saying is settlements under civil practice are never 100% one way or the other. It's a settlement. It's a compromise.
Right.
And maybe this is one of those situations where the parties can compromise and at least alleviate some of the loss. But it's a risk that Mr. Day has to, and Bondsman take. All that they know, they can lose it.
Right, but
In
they
every
know
case.
that the day they
But-
write the bond as well.
But they're only they're sticking their neck out because they feel like everything is going to work if they do their job reasonably. And they do what they can, and then they get punished for it. Now they they risked, but this isn't a lottery system. This is this is trying to make a system of criminal justice work along with the respecting the presumption of innocence standards that goes back farther than much farther back from before we were ever born, and is inherent in the basis of the Constitution. So those are important things, and we got to adapt and to circumstances that change over time. Maybe that can be worked out, but I'm going to deny the request at this time. If y'all can resolve it, I hope. If not, then
The request is for entry for judgment. Is that the court's denying that at this time?
no.
Okay.
No, but until I get it, something written in front of me, I'm not going to sign it. I'm not going to, but if things don't change the way the status of the record is now, I hope that y'all can try to work it out if y'all can.
Okay, we'll look at it. And
Under law.
we'll check on it, Your Honor.
Okay, thank
All
you
right,
very
thank you, Your
much.
Honor.
All right, anything else? That is
Your
all.
Honor, may we be excused?
Yes, sir.
Thank
Is there anything else we have?